Hey guys, welcome back. I know I haven't updated you guys in a while on the build. I have been delayed with a lot of stuff for the last 3-4 weeks, basically a month. One being is, I don't know if you guys noticed, I got my valve covers power coated. I also have my manifold coated. So we're going to be talking about this a little bit. I want to educate you guys on some things that I learned today and this week. But in the meantime, I want to show you guys my valve covers. Yes, this is a real carbon fiber. I bought it from SP. It is carbon fiber. Valve covers. What is this, metallic black? Yes, I got it done. And this took about 3 weeks. And I think it came out pretty nice. The only thing I was disappointed about was that they power coated over the iridium fittings, which I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought they were going to cover this. Maybe I didn't communicate that with them. And then this was actually pointed upwards. I actually needed to put an extension and bend this back down. So that's the situation about that. But yeah, they did power coat this over it. So this is power coated along with the rest of the manifold. So I mean, I really don't care anymore, but I think it came out pretty nice. The whole manifold, the valve covers itself, it's metallic black. I think it's the powder. Let me get some light for you guys. I didn't want to do the wrinkle black. It was originally wrinkle black. It was painted, Canon sprayed by me about seven years ago. Wanted to change it up and then got this done along with the pipe, the coolant pipe. Now, I also got the turbo housing metallic black as well, which is sitting right there. And I have the downpipe power coated. I got the manifold power coated and also have the turbo housing power coated. Now, I wanted to create this video to talk to you guys about something with the cast manifold. I know a lot of people run this manifold, and it is an eBay manifold, which I bought years and years ago from somebody at the time. They told me the hole, that wastegate hole was ported. It was never ported. Obviously, they lied. I bought this for $100. I'm not going to cry over it. I ended up having to port it myself. So it is ported. And it is ported to match the wastegate. It's about 46 millimeters. Or 44, whatever the gasket was, I basically lined it up, circled it, and that's how I poured it. And it's held 700 without an issue. No boost creep. The reason why I wanted to create this video is I wanted to talk to you guys about what happened with this manifold this week. I got it from the coating place on Saturday last week. Today is being Friday, so it's been almost a week. And I went to go ahead and install the wastegate flange. Flange that, it's obviously a 2-bolt and it's got the V-band. And this is what I installed 7 years ago. And as you can see, it's actually nicely shiny because I actually sanded this down. And I ended up having to buy a sander from Home Depot. When I went to go install this with the metal gasket, it, obviously it's nice and tucked in there. And I happen to just basically put a light inside here just to make sure that, there is no light coming off from either side of the flange, from the gasket area and stuff like that. Well, there was a lot of light coming out of it and from these sides. So with that, being an issue, I didn't want to, obviously install it right away and put it back on the car. I want to make sure that I do this nice and clean because it's my car. And so I went to a machine shop and got it machined. So you see that? It's a different color. So it's obviously machined all the way around. It was warped like that from, obviously whenever the cast manifold was made. And I'm 100% sure that all the cast manifolds that get made, they are not true flat. When I say true flat, meaning it's completely true flat against a straight edge. So this was warped because I dropped it at a machine shop, obviously because of this issue, because obviously I took the flange and he saw it and he said, okay, that's not flat. I'm going to go ahead and machine that. Then he also straight edged this side because I had a feeling this side was completely not straight. just a hunch. And what do you know? It was completely warped. This was 17th hour. I think that's what he said that he was machined down to. And then he said that he also machined this down because he checked and it looked like it was warped. So he machined this down. So all three sides were completely machined down. And the reason why I'm creating this video and telling you guys about this is that a lot of people buy these manifolds thinking they're straight and they just go ahead and slap it on. I don't believe they're straight. I highly recommend getting them machined and decked and make sure that is actually a true flat surface, because if you don't have a true flat surface, then you obviously have air going in here and going into the exhaust system, and obviously your AFR are going to be off due to that. And we did notice a lot of my AFR during when I'm driving and all that stuff. They were, bouncing all over the place. And I thought my O2 sensor wasn't bad, which it did. That's a whole different story. It just went bad. And then obviously the new sensors, I've noticed it was bouncing a little bit here and there. So that might explain this whole exhaust leak that I've been driving for a very long time, not realizing it. So wanted to make a video and show you guys this is something that, if you're planning on running a cast manifold, off eBay, I should say, off eBay, I highly recommend getting a machine down completely. It did cost me a lot. I could have taken it to somebody else and got this done for a lot cheaper. I just couldn't find somebody local until recently after I dropped this off. So that's a mistake on my part. But now that the fact that it's completely machined, and then I ordered a new vibrant flange, because after I got it machined, I was still seeing some light, and I think this is warped as well. This is Dreadstone, and I've had this for about 7 years. And the reason why I was sanded down is because I thought this was warped, and I went and bought that and didn't help. So I went and got a vibrant one and found out that I was still seeing very, very little light even after the machining. And the reason being is because I was using wrong bolts. It wasn't fully clamping it down. So the bolts that originally come with the manifold is actually these button Allen bolts, and I highly recommend not using these. Use actual bolts which clamps this down. And I want to give a shout out to Anthony at SP and SP crew and my buddy Art for telling me that to use a different bolt because it's not fully getting clamped down. So now we're completely eliminated that issue of me seeing light, and obviously that tells me that there's not going to be an exhaust leak. And there is a metal gasket in here between the flange and also the manifold. So that's basically how you're supposed to run it and install it. So I just wanted to let you guys know, give you some knowledge, like, hey, if you're planning on getting a manifold from eBay, machine it down. If you're getting it from SP or SPA manifold, one of those, a lot of people, they use them. I have a feeling those are all machined. SP machines them before they obviously install it on their car. So if you're buying from them, I don't think you need to machine it down. But if you're buying from eBay, again, what I'm saying, when you're buying from eBay, I highly recommend getting a machine down, because I don't think they're machined flat, true flat, and saves you the trouble of having an exhaust leak. So I am going to go ahead and start the process of installing it back onto the car. And then, because I want to get this manifold installed, bolted down, then I want to get the exhaust housing on and get that lined up properly, then get the intake housing on, and then the downpipe, and make sure everything is aligning, because I do have a different flange than before. It's a little higher as this piece, or extra material, I should say. As you can tell, it might be a little difference in the spacing, so I just want to make sure that they align. So I'm going to go ahead and start on that, and then we'll continue. Hey guys, I figured I want to wrap this second part of the video. In the first part, we talked about, getting this turbo installed back on the car with the manifold and everything else, get everything lined up properly and make sure everything lines up. I didn't mention about the wastegate. Everything lines up on the wastegate side. Let me see if I can get a light for you guys. Everything lines up there. I bolted it up and everything, so no issues there. I might move just to turn this downpipe slightly, just a little bit, and then turn that wastegate a little bit as well, just because it's right now the downpipe sitting on the subframe. So that's not an issue. It's easy to do. I have everything mocked up. I don't have everything completely bolted down on the turbo, connected to the manifold, but the manifold is completely bolted down. The reason being is because I need to work on the intercooler piping. The reason why the videos have been very delayed is just that I've been busy with so many other things. That one is that we're getting our windows done again, the patio door. So I just, obviously I'm occupied with that and other things going on the weekends, and I haven't had a time to actually come in the garage and work on this car. It's already February 28th. Tomorrow is March 1st. My goal was to get this car running by end of March, which is still the goal. And I have a tune day next in April, towards the end of April. I'm trying to get this car running by then. So I still got a lot to do. As you can see, the whole intake side needs to be redone. This whole, fuse box needs to be readjusted and all that stuff. So this side is completely mocked up. I had the car lowered and moved to the other side because I had to clean the garage a little bit. As you can see, I moved everything to the side, and I bought a new sander. I don't know if I mentioned in the previous video, and I bought that. It's a welder. It's a prime weld, TIG welder. So I'm trying to get that all set up right now. I need to go get gas, helmet, and all this other stuff because I'm going to be doing my own intercooler piping, and I will be learning how to weld myself. So stay tuned for that. That's why I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately, just because I haven't had a chance to come in the garage. I've just been sorting it out, cleaning the garage and stuff like that. So stay tuned for this. I will be basically turning this housing a little bit slightly because I don't know exactly how I want to route the piping. I don't know if I want to route the piping basically, coming from here and going into this little hole, or basically, or it's going to come from here like a 90 degrees into this housing, and then basically going to be a 90-degree coupler. That's how I originally had it. The only problem was that when we went down, it was hitting the tire a little bit. So I can technically reuse the same intercooler piping and modify a little bit, but since I'm learning, I'm actually going to try to do this whole thing myself. That's basically it for the turbo side. And then obviously intake side, I haven't showed you guys the intake. See if the intake's over here somewhere. Intake's in here. Let me get this out for you guys. Now there was a delay on this. This is the intake that's going on. It's a hypertune wrap, all those eBay manifolds that everybody seems to run. I've been having some issues with this. One is that my injectors that I really wanted to use, which were the 1000cc PTE injectors, since they're old and fat as shit, I can't use them. One is that the fuel rail that comes with the intake, obviously everything that gets bolted onto that rail, those injectors don't fit that rail. One, because of the fat O-ring. They don't just want to go in, and I've tried Vaseline, I've tried everything, and they just don't want to go into the hole for the fuel rail, and it's making the O-ring crumble a little bit and tearing it. So I stopped there. I do have to buy a new O-ring kit because I'm actually selling those injectors. For those who are interested, it will come with the fuel rail that I use and the brackets for the lower intake manifold. And so the delay is I just bought new injectors today. I wanted to show you guys something, and I don't know if I have it here or where exactly I placed it, but it's a gasket. It's a gasket that I will be using with the intake manifold, and I wanted to show you guys what I'll be doing. Now, these intake manifolds, here, let me put you guys down for 1 second. Oh, shit, I dropped it. All right, let me turn you guys over. Just quick 30 seconds to a minute. The intake manifold comes with the O-rings, and these O-rings are very, very complicated to put on. And this is a kit that you get, all these O-rings, and guess what? I will not be using them. I got this bad boy machined completely down. Took it to a machine shop, cost $125 to get this machine down. You may have to find a machine shop that was willing to do this. The reason why I did this is because I want to use a one-piece gasket. Thanks to James Ward, I bought a gasket and I don't know where I placed it. this is bothering me now because I need to know where that gasket is. So basically it's going to be installed as a one-piece gasket with the intake manifold. It's just easier to run that than actually having to run those O-rings, and then when you go to install it, they just pop out. I mean, they're already hard to put on. I tried to put on the gasket for this, the O-ring, and it was a pain in the ass. I had to completely put so much Vaseline on it just to get that to stick onto the hole, and then I basically used a metal gasket that comes with the IAC, and then obviously IAC installed, and then 2 bolts that came with it, and then this is Teflon, and then installed one by one. So yeah, just waiting on the injectors to come in. I will be running 1700cc injectors. The reason why is because my plan is to make 1,000 horsepower in the future. So I rather just buy the injectors now and be done with it and not have to look back. So those injectors hopefully be coming by end of the week. And the second I get that, I'll be installing the fuel rail along on the injector. And the injectors, the fuel rail, all getting installed on this. And then I'm going to go ahead and start mocking it up so I can install the fuel rail. I'm sorry, the fuel line, the feed fuel line. I already have the feed fuel line here, but I'm actually going to be making a new one because I don't want a stainless and blue and red showing when I have everything else is black and different colors. So that's going to be gone. And then I have the fittings and the fuel line already sitting there. So I'll be creating that. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead, get this installed so I can go ahead, start doing the power wires, and then drill a circle. I'm basically making a circle for the intercooler piping on this side, and then figuring out the intercooler piping route and stuff. And then lastly, I don't know if I'm happy with this yet, but that's my fuel line, return line, fuel return line right there. My regulator is right there, and then my fuel my E85 sensor is right there, and then the return. So that's that, guys. Just a quick update. I wanted to finish off the video that I had talked about getting this installed, and just want to give you a quick update on the rest of the car. It's February 28th, and I have about less than a month and a half to get this car running up and aligned as well, and then tuned. So as of right now, I don't think I'm going to make that deadline, but because I'm not rushing anymore and I've got other things going on. But who knows? I might be able to get this done. I mean, as long as I have all the parts and stuff. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.